Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? How is everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having an amazing evening. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a second. If we are looking for some debates, guys, this is Sparring with Santana. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter. We are only looking for some debates. We're going to go ahead and get it rolling here in just one moment. With that being said, let's crank it up.
You stepped in the box, now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here, you better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in shame. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats who get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit. Yeah, step in if you dare. Truth hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. I don't care what you claim or your background. Facts only, if not, get clapped down. Whether you're left or right or you don't even vote. If your logic is weak, I'll sink your boat. You talk slick, but you ain't got source. Just vibes, that ain't power, that's force. I'm the test, the trap, the trip, the call. You slip once, I'm snatching it all. Yeah, step in if you dare.
Tap the screen, guys. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 8,000 likes.
Ain't no rules, no
Only request up if you're a Trump supporter. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter. We are only looking for some debates.
Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. Step in if you dare. You get hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana.
Hey.
This ain't a safe place.
It is not.
This a flame space.
Yes, it is.
Don't you wanna?
Hey.
Sparring with Santana.
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters. If you are a Trump supporter, get in the box. If you're someone that supports Donald Timothy Trump, get in the box. We are only looking for some debates. Only looking for some debates, guys. Please do not request up if you are not a Trump supporter. We are not looking to talk to friendlies. Kofi, how are you?
Good.
Kofi, are you a Trump supporter? Thank you for the crown.
I am. I was actually just in that last live stream. I think what you were doing, Strawman about was kind of disgusting, but yeah.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Said I think I was in the last live stream, and what you were doing, strawmanning the Bible, was kind of disgusting, but nevertheless, that's not the
cool.
topic.
So you know who I am?
No.
Well, I mean, you had to because you just saw me and then you followed me from there to here and you're here. So you kind of know who I am at least. That's fine. Never mind. Don't even worry about it. Hey, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to not only who I am, but what this is. Is that all right?
Go ahead.
Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters. If you are a Trump supporter, get in the box. If you are a Trump supporter, request up. Only request up, though, if you are a Trump supporter. We are not looking to talk to friendlies. We are only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, do all the wonderful things. Tap the screen, share the live. Also, I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goals. So if we can knock that out, it'll push us out to the FYP. Kofi, you're a Trump supporter. Listen, I know you're listening to the last live. assuming you probably want to talk about the Bibbles. I'm not really that interested in talking about the Bibbles. I would like to actually find common ground with you as a Trump supporter. Can we try to find common ground?
So you are a Trump supporter?
No, I said I would like to try to find common ground.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Hey, we can both agree that Donald Trump, it's time to use the 25th Amendment, right?
Just refresh me again on what the 25th is.
Yeah, the 25th Amendment is the actual amendment that gives the authority for the vice president and the cabinet of the president to remove the current president of the United States due to him being unfit for duty.
Well, given the fact that most people from my party denied that in the last presidency, yeah, I would say no.
What does that have to do with this presidency?
Just, holding the same sort of.
Wait, are you doing a whataboutism?
No, I'm not.
That's what it felt like because I was talking about Donald Timothy Trump, and for some reason you just tried to reach back to Joseph Robinette Biden. Hey, I would like to talk about Donald Trump, and the reason why I say this is because of multiple things, right? We can talk about the government shutdown, which by Donald Trump's own words, not mine, the president owns the government shutdown, so apparently Donald Trump doesn't know how to actually lead. We can talk about his failing health physically and cognitively. We can talk about the ICE raids that are out of control. Even Los Angeles is, declaring a state of emergency. We can talk about the failing job numbers. We can even talk about the constitutional crisis that Donald Trump has put us in. Or, you know what? Another olive branch that I have for you. You can just admit, you miss Obama. Just help us, Obama. And if you're willing to do that, we can call it all even, and you and I can just keep it moving.
I think that's funny. You're saying ISIS is out of control, and then you're saying help us, Obama. I'm pretty sure they had most of same fundamental values in terms of
they didn't. They literally didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't.
Okay.
Why was Barack Obama so effective as far as deportation, but yet Donald Trump has been so ineffective as far as deportation?
How has he been ineffective?
He's deporting at a lower rate than both Joe Biden and Barack Obama. And he's also allocated additional funds to not only ICE, but he's moved multiple law enforcement agencies across the board to support ICE, including 25% of the FBI.
Yeah, so Santana, I'm sure you're of age. Let's try to use our brain here. There's probably less people to deport nowadays than there were.
That's not true.
What makes you think that's not true?
You, for some reason, trying to say, let's use our brain and there's less people. That's literally not true. There's more people in the United States now than there were when Barack Obama was in office. Now, how about instead of we use our quote unquote brains, we actually use statistics, and you actually pull the information and tell me exactly you pull the information and you tell me what's the rate as far as deportation, because again, it's not about your assumptions. It's about the actual numbers.
Okay, so you mean you're denying my claim? So can you give me factual evidence to support that?
Yeah, go look at the census.
Right, the census. What exactly am I looking for? It's pretty.
Go look at the
broad.
census. You said there were less people in the United States when Barack Obama was president versus now.
That's not what I said. Let's have an honest debate here.
Okay, so you're saying there were less people in the country to deport now versus when Barack Obama was in the country?
Correct.
Okay, we're talking about the rate, bud. We're not talking about the actual physical number.
You brought up if we're gonna have a conversation debate, let's have an honest debate.
What did I say Donald Trump is doing that? I said Donald Trump is deporting at a lower rate
you did not
than both Joe Biden and Barack Obama. I didn't say that there was a total number.
You just said that. You didn't say that.
No, I said that the first time. Why would I compare 9 months to the entire term of Barack Obama and Joe Biden?
My point. I'm actually asking the same question. That's exactly my point.
I wouldn't. That's your understanding. Just because you don't understand doesn't mean that was my point.
No, something I didn't understand is you didn't say.
No, you didn't understand. Why would I compare 9 months to 8 years? That doesn't make sense.
Are you recording on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, so let's make a bet.
Sure. Okay. What do you want to know? Every time I bet you guys, you never pay. Like there's fuck your bet. No, because you guys don't pay. All you do is lie and then you run from it.
No.
Okay, make the bet. Send. You know what? Send. This is what we'll do. What's your bet? What's your bet?
Let's just do, cheeky $20.
Okay, perfect. This is what we'll do right now. You send me the $20 to my pay links. Santana speak for you. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. And hold on. Listen.
That's funny.
Listen. No. Listen.
That's funny.
You send me the $20 right now. And if you're right, I will send you $50 back. If you're wrong, I keep the 20. Every time I make a bet with you guys, you never pay. You literally never pay. You guys love making big bets, but never pay.
Do it in good faith.
No, I don't trust any of you. Literally, a guy came on here and told me he bets me $1,000 that if I could find a video of Donald Trump making these claims about Epstein, then he would pay. I literally played the video and then he didn't pay the money and he ran. No,
okay, so
send the $20 right now. Mm-hmm. And if I'm wrong, I'll send you 50 back.
Okay, let's do it then.
Go ahead.
I'll
wait for it. Right here, Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. And also, if anybody else would like to support the live, you can do so. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on the YouTube, you can send a super chat. Now we'll read that out. Guys, keep tapping the screen. I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to this little 1 cent gift goal. If we can knock this out a couple of times, it'll help push us out to the FYP. Also, guys, this is the backup account. Make sure you're following this account. We are on this account for the rest of the week. We get the main back towards the end of the week. So if you want to catch any debates, make sure you are following this account and send your daily heart me, turn on notifications so you know when I go live.
Give me a quick second. Just got to set up my PayPal, but I'll do it. Just hold on. Give me 2 minutes.
Thank you for the done. So what up, Dantura? Absolutely. Guys, keep tapping the screen. While you do that, I'm going to go ahead and bring someone else up just to keep the conversation flowing. You do that and let me know when you're ready. Is it Talia and Chris? I'm sorry. How do y'all say your username?
It's Talia.
Talia. Are you a Trump supporter?
I guess.
What do you mean, yes?
I don't know what you define by support, but...
Did you vote for Donald?
I did vote. I voted for all Don there.
Okay, cool. If the election was to happen, let's say today, right, and you know everything that you know now, and the options were Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, who would you vote for?
I'd still vote for old Donald Duck.
Okay. All right.
I think he's a fucking clown. Oh, I might have said I can't. Maybe I can't say the F-bomb. Sorry about that.
I don't care about you saying fucking.
All right, I don't know.
So why do you still support him? I mean, because I'm assuming like you would be on the same page with me as far as him needing. I
don't necessarily support him. I don't support like liberalism, like modern liberalism. At least my understanding of modern liberalism.
What's your understanding of modern liberalism?
Yeah, my understanding of modern liberalism is that the right believes in hierarchy and individual responsibility and prioritizes that, and the left believes in equality and more collective responsibility. And I'm more of an individualist. I'm more of a meritocracy guy. You're out here, you got to respect that. You're out here. I don't know if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, out here 1 a.m. on the East Coast, streaming, out there getting it. And I respect that. And I think that generally speaking, I don't see a lot of appreciation for that on the left side. Yeah.
How old are you?
So I guess that's why. In fact, I think it's kind of almost demonized.
How old are you?
Business. Oh, sorry, I'm 27.
Okay. So you're 27. So you're old enough. Cool. Hold on a second. Hey, Kofi, just a FYI, you have to come back into the app every once in a while. If you don't, it'll force you out.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm back. Oh wait, I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page here. So, what point are you? What's your claim again? Just let me know what the boundaries are.
My claim was that I said that I said that Donald Trump is deporting at a lower rate than Joe Biden and Barack Obama. We continue to talk. Then you said that I did not say that. You said that I said just the total, and then I came back a second time and then changed the statement. So the actual bet is the first time that I made the statement, I said that that he's deporting at a lower rate than both of them.
Okay, I think that give us that.
Tally,
What's up?
we live in a society.
Yeah.
No, literally, we live in a society. Understanding that, yes, there are individual, goals, accomplishments, and of course, you can be an individual and succeed. But I think you have a misconception as far as the left versus the right, where the left wants to see everyone be able to live a successful life and give everyone the ability to live a successful life, versus the right thinking that for some reason everyone needs to just figure it out themselves, or at least having that quote unquote mindset, but only actually catering to billionaires. Like literally the right preaches individuality and supporting yourself while passing out money and loans and all this other stuff to the ultra wealthy and giving them all types of breaks, and then taking care of other countries over our country. Like that's the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a fair. I would argue, and I'm not a political expert, but I would argue that there's a healthy amount of that on both sides of the aisle. Abuse of power to enrich yourself. I think we've seen a lot of that. I mean, there have been plenty of instances of liberal politicians taking massive speaking fees to go speak to foreign nations and whatnot.
Has there ever been one that has done it at the level of Donald Trump?
I don't think so. No. Possibly. I don't. Again, I'm not a politician. I think that he is egregiously, in my opinion, abused his role as president, and with all of the shit coins and the even Donald Trump Jr. participating in reverse mergers of companies and promoting them, all this stuff. I think it's ridiculous, and I don't like it.
I'm a little bit confused. And how can you support him? Because it sounds like the things.
Yeah, no. Again, I think it's I don't see it as like a binary. I think that I can, and again, I think generally speaking, my belief is that the policies that are made are more pro business, more pro. I believe that the society that we live in has the properties for you to become successful, which you're taking advantage of right now. I mean, again, like you might do this for fun and whatnot, but the fact is that if you continue to do this, you're going to become massively successful. You already have a great degree of success. And that's awesome. But you can't force somebody off the couch to go do something. And I think that's why I don't think equality should be the goal. I don't understand why equality. I think equal opportunity, we're all. I think
you're confusing equality for equity.
I feel like those words have flip-flopped over time, because to me, equity means a fair playing field. Yeah. And I believe that exists enough for you to become successful. Okay, well, I disagree.
So I'll give you, okay, cool. I'll tell you why. Let's say, do you think that, let's say a lower income individual from one community has all of the same ability and access to become successful as a wealthy individual?
I think that the property.
I guess to make it pretty simple. Make it pretty simple. Make it pretty simple. Do you think that you have the ability to be just as or even more successful than Barron Trump?
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know that. I do believe so. Yeah. I think we've seen that. There are plenty of startup founders and people who have created a lot of value that have, gotten lucky. I mean, there's a lot of luck involved in that.
There's a shit ton.
There's a lot of luck involved. I'm not saying that there are not people who are born into situations that give them a massive advantage and a security blanket. But I don't think that it is especially the government's job to try to artificially adjust for that.
Okay. Well, that was just the starting point for me. I mean, there's more. I just wanted to see how far you're willing to actually go.
Yeah.
I don't
call
think
me
that
delusional. I just don't. Are you hearing what I'm saying is delusional, or do I seem at least somewhat well reasoned as a starting point?
No, I mean, like you did admit that like there's some, but I mean, for anyone to think that there's a few rarities that as far as people that have the ability to succeed at or a higher level of someone who is literally born with a quote unquote silver spoon, or by his
100%.
words, a gold spoon in his mouth, where he is, he's 19 years old. He is third generation, millionaire / billionaire.
Yep.
He is someone who has ultimate proximity to power. And for you to sit here and say you could be as successful, literally, Barron Trump can continue to fail ass backwards into success. He literally dropped out of school after one semester, and now is sitting on multiple boards, making a shit ton of money. And they're even talking about putting him on the board of TikTok.
I know.
He only has
that.
one semester in college.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I think it's ridiculous, but I think that what do you think needs to change? Because I don't think that it's healthy, and I also think it will limit your ability to achieve success if you are like having this false equivalency, or you're sort of relating your ability to be successful with somebody else who is born with a silver spoon.
That was just the envy,
but it's like your success is independent of Barron Trump. It doesn't matter with Barron Trump. The local plumber in my community that learned a skilled trade, did a great job, and serviced his customers, and learned a little bit about business and sold to private equity for $20 million. I mean, that's great success. And that's
sure.
totally,
let's take it a step further. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to take it to its furthest extreme, just to kind of speed this along. Do you think that a black baby has the same level of access to life and success as a white baby?
Yes, dude. What kind of stupid question?
Hold on one second. Is it Ben Carson? Is it Ben Carson? Hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Kofi, have you sent that $20 yet?
It's asking for some bank verification, so I went ahead and did that. Just waiting for it to come back.
Okay, go back on mute until you get that $20 over, because I'm not.
Well, as a black person, that's a stupid question to ask.
Sure. If you don't know the answer, then okay.
I do know the answer because I've looked.
Shushies.
You're asking that stupid.
Kofi, shushies. No one's talking to you right now. So Tally. All right. So you said you think that yes, they have the same access to life and success. Is that what you just said?
So I feel deeply empathetic for people who do not live in America or do not live in a society that promotes the ability.
Talking about America.
Mobility.
Black baby, white baby.
Yeah, sure.
Question.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I believe that black people are as capable as white people and Asian people and any other race of people.
That's not the question.
I prefer to look at like individual people. In fact,
Tally. That's not the question.
Well, what's the question?
The question is, do you believe that white babies and black babies have the equal right to life and success?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, you're wrong. The reason why I say you're wrong is look at the infant mortality rate, right? Infant mortality rate, not only is the morbidity rate for black women higher than white women, period, but also black babies unalive at a higher clip than black babies. And literally, there's study and research shown that while being treated by white doctors, black babies are more likely to lose their lives. And the only time the actual the rate of infant mortality increases is when they're treated by black doctors. But vice versa, when white babies are treated by black doctors or even white doctors, their actual infant mortality rate never drops. So literally right out of the womb, starting life, black babies are at a disadvantage due to medical racism, and so they have a lesser access to life.
So provided that somebody reaches adulthood, and I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind that. I guess is
medical racism.
What's the answer to that?
Medical racism. Access? Medical racism.
Medical racism. Okay, yeah. So I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry to hear that. Obviously, that's I don't agree with any form of racism. But I know many.
Racism is systemic. That's the issue.
I've seen firsthand many black people who came from nothing, become extremely successful because they've got a high locus of control and they believe in autonomy and their abilities and they believe in themselves and they do exactly what you're doing.
Thank you.
They grind and they work hard and they persevere.
Yeah,
and they don't
hear you.
up.
But again, so you just I just introduced you to medical racism. Do you think that's the only form of systemic racism that exists?
Look, I guess I don't know. I believe that America is the best place, the best system for people to be successful, independent of any. I believe.
So we can talk about medical racism. We can talk about racism within the educational system. We can talk about racism within the banking system. We can talk about redlining. We can talk about gerrymandering. There's multiple systemic or systematic forms of racism that literally continues to put black people at a disadvantage, and it lowers the ability for success or being able to achieve. Like the fact that I'm sitting here in your premise as far as being successful, it's more so an outlier versus an actual. It's more an exception that makes the rule versus being the rule.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Literally, think about it. Do you know what redlining is?
Is that for districts, redlining districts for?
No. It's banks
housing,
as far as loans and housing. Yeah. When is the last time you think that there was a major lawsuit for a big bank that was found for redlining, engaging in that type of racism?
Shit, man. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of lawsuits actively ongoing right now for all sorts of things.
2024.
Yeah.
Major banking for redlining in 2024. And then even when you talk about racism, you did who was it? Gosh, I got to look it up. But there was a study just completed that shows that the United States of America has lost out on $16 trillion with a T due to racism. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about the actual limitations of being able to progress due to racism, this country is literally willing to give up, massive amounts of money just to engage in racism. And then you can start talking about.
Isn't it illegal though? Isn't that already illegal? I guess what's the answer?
Yes, it's illegal, but it doesn't stop it from happening.
Can discriminate against. I know. Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm not going to get into details, but I am discriminated against as well. I'm white, and it doesn't have to do with my race. I'm not going to get into the details. But I'm also
just about to say. Then
against.
It talks about are you a part of another intersection? Because that's where I was going next. Is you look at the different levels of intersectionality. I just started talking about racism because for some reason that's the easiest thing for people to grasp. But then when you start talking about the queer community and how they are marginalized, or you talk about people with disabilities and how they're marginalized, not everyone has the same footing or the same equity in order to gain success. Kofi, where's that $20?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that way. I just think differently, and I think it's a disempowering message to those communities to say, hey, the system's against you. You can't be successful here. When there are plenty of examples of anybody in any category that had no advantage that have created great success for themselves by taking advantage of the system and creating value for others. I'm not looking into when I'm hiring a company or doing something, and some people may do this, but by and large, I don't think that the exception defines the rule. And I believe that the exception is people profiling the owner of a business and saying, oh my God, they're black, or oh my God, they're queer. And so therefore I'm not going to do business with them. I mean, look at Sam Altman. He's gay and he's the CEO of OpenAI. Look at Peter Thiel. He's gay and he's runs the fucking government. And
they're
so,
also white men.
I understand that, but there are plenty of examples of black men.
But you have,
I just met with somebody worth hundreds of millions of dollars last week.
This is the problem that you have when you talk about the actual foundation of this country. This country was created and it was created and rooted in racism, sexism, and classism. Right? When the Constitution was written, it was written for white men that own land. Right? And then everyone else passed that.
Things done changed. Like Biggie said,
I was just about to say past that. Everyone outside of that actually got access to rights later, right? But it's still woven into the fabric of the country and who we are. But the point being is, just because you are a white man that is gay does not mean that you are going to have the same issues when it comes to progress or life that you would, let's say, a black transgender woman with disabilities. It's not the same. Also,
I hear you.
Where's that $20?
I get that.
I was saying, it asked for, what do you call it, my verification for my license and everything. So once that clears up, I'll be able to send it. I just downloaded the app. I mean, unless you got Zelle, that's pretty much the easiest way I can send that over.
Give me a second, Kofi. So with that being said, I mean, you name those individuals, and like the point that I'm trying to make, and also just to call back to what I was saying, is Citigroup. Citigroup did a massive study, and there's a great NPR article about it, or you can look it up as far as the Citigroup article. But cost of racism in the U.S. economy, 16 trillion because of discrimination, bank says. This came out in 2020. But the point that I'm trying to make is
how's overall, that quantified in that article? I guess, like, how's that number being quantified?
Yeah, it's quantified by different metrics as far as loss on revenue, loss on like loans and other like business developments. A lot of things that black people don't get access to. Just for example, they call out the actual access to housing loans, right? Where you can have a black person and a white person, and they can have the exact same credit score, job history, income, things like that. They line up equally, but either the black person is given a higher interest rate for the loan or denied the loan. And so that, causes.
I think that's already illegal though. So I guess what would the answer be?
Just because it's illegal doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. That's the point that I'm making, right? Like being, that's the bigger point in all of this. Just because something is illegal does not stop it from happening.
Do you have a mortgage?
No, not right now.
Okay, no worries. I bet you, if your credit score is high enough and you have proof of income, then I bet you could get a mortgage that's, competitive and non-discriminatory. I would bet that. I
100% true, by the way.
It's literally documented. That's why we're talking about like redlining cases. This is actually happening today. Like you can sit here and say, "Oh, I can bet you," but I'm telling you, there's actual document. There's legal cases of this not happening today.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I don't agree with that. If that is happening, I think it's illegal. I mean, I know it's illegal, and so hopefully
it is illegal, but that doesn't stop it from happening.
They'll win lawsuits. I got to tell you, man, the amount of power that I see within the black community is unrivaled to normal white guys. I would say.
You.
I like me as a white male. Like,
Kofi, I'm putting you back on mute until you send that 20. Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
How do I relate to people? There's no culture. There's no culture around, like, in the white male community right now. I mean, we're like
there's absolutely a culture within.
I don't know, man. I see so much power in the black community.
You know what the culture is right now? Did you see the article that came out from the Young Republicans? The article that was published by Politico?
I didn't, man. No, I'm not into politics really.
Got it. So you know what Young Republicans are?
Like literally, or is it like
they're like chapters all across the country, and they're they're the future leaders of the Republican Party. They're the ones that are they interact with current leaders of the Republican Party. They are like the chapter groups that reach out to the youth in order to help drive people to the Republican Party. Something like Charlie Kirk with Turning Point USA, but it's specifically done through the RNC.
Yeah, and
so
I got it. And
chairs and vice chairs and
organizations on the Democratic side as well.
Yeah, their private text messages were leaked today through Telegram. You want to guess what the Young Republicans?
Yeah, but what is that? That's like saying that, that's like generalizing an entire group based on an individual.
I'm telling
that's like
you,
saying black people.
I'm telling you, no, it's not. It's not. Hey, no, listen.
Okay, I'm listening.
The Young Republicans are actual people that are connected with the Republican Party through the RNC. They're literally put into positions, and they're surrogates to the youth from the RNC. They're literally, it's not some ominous group. It's literally a group of young white men, mostly young white men, that are arms of the RNC to engage with the youth.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. I'm listening.
Their Telegram text messages were leaked today. 2,900 pages, 28,000 messages of pure racism, of pure hate, of pure Nazism. Like literally, they were talking about how they wanted to grape women, how they wanted to actually put immigrants in gas chambers. Like that's white culture today. Like literally, that's white culture today.
That's not my white culture, man.
I hear you.
That's not my white culture at all.
I mean, that's what the numbers would say. If you take a look at like the amount of mass unalivings, over 90% of mass unalivings are done by cis het white men. Like literally, when you talk about the actual violent crimes today in the United States of America, white men lead in every category of violent crime today.
Per capita?
That's why. No, period.
Well,
period.
But per capita.
No, it's not per capita. It's period. If you look at the raw numbers, the FBI, people love the quote table 43. I actually have a video about this on my main page, and I have like the screenshots and everything loaded already. But the FBI, if you look at the last 5 years, white men overwhelmingly lead in every category as far as violent crime. And we're not talking per capita. We're talking about numbers
for white men, furthering my position that I think that there's a great degree of power and community within the black culture.
White men make up most of the country. That should be harnessed
and leveraged, and I think that that's important to recognize.
But
I think
how can that be? Listen, do you understand the only category that voted for Donald Trump at an overwhelming amount? And I'm not just saying mostly, but an overwhelming amount was white men. Like white men showed up and voted for Donald Trump at the highest clip than any other president in United States history. And Donald Trump won by 1%. If white men have that much power to get a very unpopular candidate into office, how do you think that any other racial demographic is going to overtake white men?
I think he's one of the most. Well, is that really the goal, to like overtake racial groups?
Your premise is saying that like, oh, black people can do this or do that. Like literally, I've already.
My premise is that we're all the same, and we should look at each other as individuals. And if some GOP nut job said some shit like that was fucked up, then screw them. I don't agree with that. And I don't think that most of the GOP
I'm trying to connect the dots for you. Is I've already ran through the systematic oppression, systematic racism that occurs, and then you connect with all of the other items as far as like not only systematic racism, but then you talk about the overwhelming force of white people. You talk about the reason why the country was created. Like it's all set up to ensure that unless white men allow something to happen, it doesn't happen in this country.
Yeah. Well, I guess assuming that that's true, let's say even if that is true, I guess what would your proposed solution be to that?
What do you mean?
Like, how would you suggest going about correcting that?
There's a lot. Honestly, I don't know how you would actually correct racism as a whole right now. But again, the point that I'm trying to make, because I'm not even trying to debate with you as far as how do you correct the problem. The point that I'm trying to make is that it exists, and it's an impediment to being able to actually say that anybody can do anything. It doesn't work that way.
I couldn't agree more. Could you also recognize looking outside of race? And I do understand that that's a hot topic, and
Sure.
for good reason. But looking outside of race, that there are also plenty of extremely impoverished white people, Asian people. There are people with disease and all sorts of other.
I mean, there's a difference between classism and racism, but classism and racism are intimately entwined, right?
And just bad luck too. I mean, there's just bad luck. You could get like a rare disease and like just die. That's pretty disadvantageous. So
yeah, but when you have a patriarchal system set to actually oppress people, like, I mean, I thought you were about to say looking outside of racism, and you were going to go to somewhere. My one that, like, and this seems to be the hardest one for people to sometimes get, right? But let's talk about when you go out, right? Let's say you want to go out to dinner. When's the last time you've checked to see if the restaurant that you're going to has a menu that's in Braille?
I've never looked at that.
Okay. When's the last time that? And I'm sorry, I take this for granted. Do you have any have a disability?
I mean, I'm pretty hyperactive, and I score high on ADHD.
Yeah,
but
me as well. But
know.
like,
I mean, I'm sort of.
When's the last time you
that.
checked for an area that you're traveling to see if it has like a wheelchair ramp?
Never. No, it doesn't. It's irrelevant. I don't look at it.
Yeah.
To me, like
So
to me individually, I'm not looking at that. No.
So that's the point that I'm making. So even if you talk about limitations outside of race, right? There's other forms that actually limit other people that keep them from being able to be just as successful as others, because there's a history within our country with looking at people with disabilities as less than hell. The current president of the United States and his idiot ass HHS secretary or HHS head or whatever is sitting here perpetuating a myth as far as like Tylenol causing autism, and they're sitting here actually like vilifying autistic people. Like RFK Jr. literally talked about putting autistic people in camps. I didn't see that. Literally. There's
I don't
a whole
believe
thing.
that, but you could be right. I like my bullshit detector's going off, but
I can get that information for you. No, he talked about that. RFK Jr. literally talked about that. He literally talked about that.
Well, that's crazy, man. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. 1 second. W's in the chat for Lee. Lee sent a $15 donation saying, Santana, you keep me sane, brother. Keep your voice along with Dean and Parker keep me grounded. Lee, aka Mizzy B Doodle. I know that's right. Thank you so much for that $15 donation, guys. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks For You is the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on the YouTubes, what up, YouTube? What up, Twitch? If you're over on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. And if you like to support, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 150,000 likes. Also, I'm going to reset this gift goal. If we can continue to knock that out, it'll get us more push. Guys, only request up if you are a Trump supporter. We are only looking for some debates. Kofi, I still have not gotten that $20. Like, I don't know what's happening, bud, but we're lacking. But with that being said, we have Joanna here. Joanna is using her tag me in, which she gets 5 minutes. And Joanna, since Kofi still has not sent that $5, he's persona non grata. I'm sorry, sent that $20. He's persona non grata. So you get to go with Tally.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, since he didn't send the money, obviously he's a brokey, and we don't deal with brokies anyway. So shut up, Kofi. So I can absolutely agree with you, sir, that the Black community is very strong. But despite the fact that we've overcome so much adversity and jumped over so many hurdles that were purposefully put in our way, including with redlining that Santana mentioned earlier. Let me give you another example of how that impacts the Black community. So when you devalue homes in Black communities, right? Education in the school systems are funded by local property taxes. If you purposefully keep the home values down in Black communities, what's going to happen to that school funding versus other communities?
100%. No, I see that for sure, which is why I'm so optimistic on, the future of technology enabling better access to education at scale for everybody. And I think that technology is a huge advantage there that is going to be able to help fix a lot of that, I hope. I totally understand that. And that goes also for poor white communities as well. It's the same dilemma. I went to like a very, I didn't go for long, but I went to a really, very low income, like super hillbilly high school for a while. And it totally sucked. And the people sucked. I hated it. There was all sorts of violence and fighting and that type of thing. And the teaching wasn't great as well. And so, I try to be optimistic that technology and also the community, right? Like parents, teachers and everybody, can come together and take that action. And I guess that kind of goes back to my original premise of why I voted for Donald Trump. Not because I like Donald Trump. I think, he seems like a total asshole. I mean, like, he seems.
Hey, Tyler, we don't want to steamroll because Joanna gets 5 minutes with their tag me in. So, I need you to kind of land that plane quickly. So you were not talking over Joanna the whole time.
And I mean, like, Tally, I do get what you're saying. And if the playing field was actually level, then maybe that would help with technology and all the technological advances that we've made, right? If there was, say, a Black tech company, I would assume that you would feel like that's a great thing, right?
I personally am more operating from a frame of meritocracy. And so I would believe that the best engineers should be hired, whether they're Black, white, gay, trans, whatever, outside of like any ethical, right? Like if they're like a racist, then there's an ethical barrier. But I'm more personally, that's again why it comes down to individualism. If you can
the president that you voted for does not believe in meritocracy, and we can tell that by the people he chose to put in his cabinet. That's why DEI was implemented in the first place, right? But what I was getting at is the fact that things like SBA loan funding is not typically granted to Black businesses. So in terms of the individualism, pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of premise, there was a foundation that was created for funding Black businesses called the Fearless Fund. They were doing great because Black businesses don't typically get funded as well as white businesses do. So they created their own. You know what happened to the Fearless Fund?
I do not know.
They were sued for racial discrimination because they weren't handing out funding to white businesses. And they had to disband. So even when we do pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and focus on the community and try to get things done the right way, racism still rears its ugly white head.
Wait, Joanna, so are you talking about like places like Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Seneca Village, or what's the
I mean, you can add Central Park into there as well.
Yeah. Seneca Village used to be Central Park. I mean, Central Park used to be Seneca. Yep. Like literally, to Joanna's point, every single time Black people have found a pathway to grab those bootstraps, hell, grab a pair of boots to put on and then start pulling on those straps. There's been multiple instances throughout the history of the United States where white people have proactively been violent towards Black people. And this last instance, where we're not necessarily talking about overall violence, like literally, Joanna, just it's modern day violence as far as targeting Black people for being able or looking to actually progress other Black people, Black women.
Santana, I do have something to say real quick.
You have the $20?
Like I said, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to duck from this $20. If you want me to send you a DM of this.
No. Anyway, go ahead, Joanna.
Yeah, but like I was saying, if the people that you voted for, the president that you voted for, actually believed in meritocracy, he wouldn't have a cabinet full of know-nothings that shouldn't be in their positions that have no idea what they're doing at all. At all. And so many things that we've mentioned, that Santana has mentioned to you, you said, well, I don't agree with that. Well, I didn't vote for that. Well, I don't think that's right. Well, I don't like that. But you voted for it.
Well, I didn't vote for, I don't think it's binary. I think in many cases, voting is like the lesser of two evils. And again, you know, I just don't understand, like, to me, looking at it logically, to me, DEI programs seem racist. DEI. What does the A stand for?
Yeah, maybe before you start speaking. No. Joanna, we don't give them
diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility.
Yes, it stands for accessibility. But also, before you start talking about DEIA, you might want to actually understand what it is, what it stands for, what the functionalities are, and who it benefits. Like,
please enlighten me.
No.
Okay. Well, my understanding is that it takes attributes that are non-related to merit or skill.
It's literally a merit-based system.
Level diversity, and basically prioritizes quotas for that. It's a merit-based system.
DEI is encouraging people to look at merit, not race. Anyway, Joanna, you were talking. Look these things up before you say it.
Point. And I said this earlier on a different live, like, maybe normalize not having a super strong opinion of something when you don't actually know what you're talking about. That's not what DEIA is. So what it actually is saying you can't exclude these people because of any of these categories. You have to include them when you're considering hiring people for positions. It's not saying you need to meet a certain quota. You got to have 25% Black people in your company. It's not saying any of that. It's saying you can't say, yes, here's a Black applicant that's just as qualified or even more qualified than a white applicant, and throw their name in the trash because her name is Keisha and not Kyle.
Yeah.
Also, it's not necessarily a DEIA is not a hiring practice. It's much more integral than that. It's eliminating the biases that restrict people from being able to function in multiple ways. And to Joanna's point, it's a merit-based system. It basically allows people to put all the stuff on the table without worrying about, are you a man or a woman? Are you Black, white, Asian? Do you have a disability? Are you part of the queer community? It eliminates all those other factors and allows the best person to be put in the best position for whatever the need is. That's
so
literally
how
what
is that? How is that enforced or measured? Like, how do you even measure? Like, I hire a lot of people, and I never look at anybody's race. I've hired many Black people, and I guess how do you and I've rejected many white people. And I guess the hiring process, and I'm sure the admission process, it's not, I guess I'm curious how you'd measure that in such a highly dimensional, range of domains. Like, hiring for any individual job is very unique. So my opinion and how I operate personally is instead of having a program to, like, I just don't look at those things. I look at the merit and the skills.
Not everyone does blind hiring. Like, that's not
and I guess,
for everyone. But also
enforce that, and then what does the DEIA do to further enforce that? I guess.
Yeah. Again, it's something that you can actually not necessarily implement, but it helps you understand the importance of eliminating those biases that you have, and understanding the importance of cohesion when it comes to having an eclectic group of a workforce. There's a great study that was completed by Forbes, and Forbes showed actually Forbes and Pew Research. There's one. That shows not only are the companies that engage with the with DEIA, they're more successful as far as generating additional revenue, because of course when you have diversity of thought, you have diversity of ideas, and you can have diversity of outcomes. But the overall workforce is happier with having a diverse workforce versus a homogenous workforce. So literally implementing DEIA has multiple benefits that allows businesses to be successful in more ways than just, hiring.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, man. I think deep level diversity is like the gold standard, in my opinion. I think that surface level diversity can be I think deep level diversity can be a derivative of surface level diversity, right? Like
surface level diversity was affirmative action, and it's been outlawed by the Supreme Court. Joanna made that point as far as like not having quotas or numbers. Like that's surface level diversity, saying that you have to have this many people. Like that's affirmative action, and Supreme Court struck that down.
We sound very aligned on this then. I mean, it sounds to both of us like the best person, the best candidate should be hired based on their skills, their knowledge, their abilities.
Well, that ain't who you picked as president, but going to that point, there has been tons of research and studies done showing applicants with, say, black sounding names do not get hired as often as applicants with white sounding names, even though their resumes may be better. There was recently a black woman who was going to have a documentary put out soon that did a little experiment. She got on LinkedIn with her picture and her name, her resume, put in applications to companies. She got on a different account with the white lady's picture, put in the same applications to the same companies for the same positions with her same resume. Guess which profile got more responses?
I'm guessing in this case it was with the white person.
Correct. So there's a systemic issue. And when it's so deeply ingrained in this country, you can't take individualism and say, well, I'm not racist and I don't do those kind of practices. I don't discriminate against people. I blind hire. I hire a meritocracy. The best person for the job is the one that I'm going to give the job to. When there's been tons of studies, centuries of us saying this, and it's been proven over and over and over that that's not the way the majority of companies function in this country, because they don't have to. Major banks and banking and financial institutions have been sued recently for racial discrimination. Like Santana was talking about earlier, Wells Fargo is one of them. Morgan Stanley is one of them. Navy Federal is one of them. Like, it still happens often.
Would you agree that anyone can sue anyone, though, for anything? I mean, just like as a general concept. I mean, anyone can sue anyone for anything. Anyone can sue anyone for anything. So
not anyone can win a lawsuit for anything. Literally, absolutely. These lawsuits have been won as well with major payouts.
Well, that's fantastic.
And it's not like one person.
That's justice. I mean, in my opinion,
that's not justice.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Stop, because I want Joanna to finish, because we're at the end of the tag me in, and I want to make sure she is able to finish her point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say, and it's not like one person is suing these banks for these things. These are class action lawsuits where they literally showed a pattern of behavior of it happening to hundreds of people, thousands of people in the housing market and multiple different financial markets. So, like, you can say that that's not what you voted for, but these people showed their true colors long before this election. Trump has been showing his since way before I was born, and I'm 38, might as well say 40 at this point. So none of this should be shocking. And if you didn't know that these people were this way, I'm not sure exactly what kind of research you did into
I guess
who
were
you
these
were
things not
voting
happening
for.
in the Obama administration? Has there been like an increase in material, disadvantage
We
since like
literally
the
talked
Obama
about systemic
administration?
racism already. Like it's systematic. It's systematic. Like it's something that is ingrained into the country, ingrained into society. It's something that is continuing to rear its head in the Trump administration, in the Biden administration, in the Trump administration, in the Obama administration, in the Bush administration, in the Clinton administration, in the Bush administration. It's a thing. It's literally a thing. That's the whole point of why I originally said that no, anyone can't just be just as successful as everyone else. That's the original point of me going back to saying we live in a society. It's literally ingrained into the fabric of the country, and it's not something that people can just grab boots and start pulling on straps. It doesn't work that way.
Well, I've seen so many examples of that, being the antithesis, and I don't know if there's another country that would be a better playground for anybody of any race or any demographic.
Countries, European countries. Really? Like yes, like literally, there's multiple countries. There's multiple countries around the world that have not only a higher quality of life for their citizens, but more diversity, more actual inclusion when it comes to different intersectionalities. Like literally, people for some reason have this level of American exceptionalism, and they think that like this country is the greatest country on earth. While we may be the wealthiest country on earth, we are not the greatest country on earth.
Is there another country where the black population is wealthier than the black population in America? Maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, when you talk about individual wealth, that does not. You keep going back to individuals. Just because LeBron James has money,
or like, what drives change? I mean, individuals.
No, it's not.
Drive
it's
change.
not. It's not. It's literally not. Do you think there's any ethical billionaires?
Ethical billionaires? Mm-hmm. Probably.
No.
There's no such thing as an ethical billionaire. Joanna, why?
Because there's no way to obtain and keep that much wealth without exploitation.
Oprah?
No.
It does not matter who you name.
None of them.
Really? Nobody's ethical over.
Did you even listen to what Joanna said, or did you just start trying to name people? Listen to what Joanna. Joanna, please say it one more time. Listen. No. Please, Joanna, say it one more time, and like listen to the words.
There's no way to obtain and keep that type of wealth without exploiting people at some level.
What is that? What is exploitation in that case then? Like hiring people and building on successful organizations? Because every billionaire
there's multiple levels of exploitation. Whether you exploit someone for their resources, their capital, if you exploit someone for their time, like there's multiple forms of exploitation. But the point is that you, in order to obtain and sustain that level of wealth, there's a high level of exploitation.
Yeah. Well, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I believe that it's a good thing that there are companies that exist that make a lot of money that can employ a lot of people, and I don't see that as exploitation.
Just because they employ a lot of people doesn't mean they're doing it. Hey, who outside of the federal government, who is like the biggest employer in the United States?
I think it's like probably going to be Amazon or something like that.
Did Amazon take them all? Okay, I might be screwing myself. Well, one of the biggest, then Walmart. I would have to check and see if Walmart
I think it is still Walmart, and Walmart is incredibly exploitative. Like
exactly.
And as someone who's from Arkansas, where Walmart started, when Mr. Walton actually started the company, it was none of what it is now. That man is rolling over in his grave, seeing what his kids have done to the company that he started and created to be a backbone of the community and pay people livable wages and give people items at low prices that were made in this country so that they didn't contribute to the exploitation of people in other companies. And that's not at all what it is now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I feel personally that I know plenty of people that have worked at Walmart, and I guess I'm curious because this is a topic that comes up.
Walmart is 2.1 million. Amazon is 1.1 million. So Walmart has a million more employees than Amazon.
And that's a bad thing. How?
They're exploiting their worker base. So you talked about giving these companies money and or them making money so they can actually employ a lot of people. There's a high majority of Walmart employees who don't make a livable wage, and they have to actually apply for SNAP benefits, which, surprise, surprise, Donald Trump passing of the big beautiful bill has eliminated the ability for people to obtain SNAP benefits. So not only are these people working for this multi-billion-dollar company that's making money hand over fist, but at the same time, they're not getting livable wages, and now they're getting restricted as far as being able to have access to food. Like none of this is ethical.
About SNAP, I guess I'm curious what changed about SNAP. Is it a threshold that changed about SNAP? Because I was listening to the other guy, I forget his name, earlier, who was talking about this Bill Parker. He was basically pointing the finger at me, saying that I voted and I am in favor of impoverishing children and making them unable to get free meals at school. And when I, actually had some time to do the research after the call, I found that it's simply a system that is, makes up 25% of school districts approximately, and that basically they're going back to the traditional system that essentially requires that you are, I think, 130% or less than the poverty level.
They're removing specific programs to give access to SNAP benefits that allow schools to gain access to food. And so they're removing those qualifications.
It's based on the financial threshold of the household. Isn't that right? I mean, there's still access to a lot of social security blanket benefits. It's just more of a
they're cutting it overall for like school districts in different areas. And just because like people love to talk about school districts, but like just because you actually go to a school in a district doesn't mean you actually live in that district. Like a lot of people,
I'm a fan
lot
of
people try
school.
to get their kids to certain school districts for better life and better education. That doesn't mean they have access to food. But anyway, Joanna, did you have anything that you wanted to say? I wanted to make sure that you're able to finish up your point before we drop you down from your tag me in.
I did. I was going to end on this point. Like, even if it wasn't for that humongous and terrible, ugly bill that was passed, the party that you vote for routinely votes against feeding children in school. They have over and over and over, and also in my state, voted against free breakfast and lunch for every kid that's going, despite the fact that you can get arrested or your parents can get arrested if you don't go to school. So you're forcing kids to be somewhere and not feeding them while they're there. It's absolutely sickening. Also, to the earlier point, yes, those things like discrimination are terrible, and there actually was something that was created called the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, which, along with the Justice Department, could go after those people, and the president that you voted for gutted it. So good luck on getting that. Thank you for bringing me up, Santana. Also, chat, I know y'all heard this black man ask y'all to get up to 150K, and we're sitting at 116. I need y'all to do y'all big one. Like, I see y'all yapping in the chat. Y'all are very passionate. You're saying a lot of things. I'm agreeing with most of you, but I also need y'all to use those same fingers to tap the screen and help us reach that gift goal. We only have 24 out of 100 hand hearts. Let's get that met as well. And the best way to support Santana, first of all, if you're not following. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, hop over there. We're also live on Twitch. We're everywhere. Follow us everywhere. And I haven't heard him say anything from them pay links in a minute too, and they're right on the screen. So go ahead and hit those up as well. Talia, I hope that you learn some things and vote differently going forward, because you did not do your big one with this vote. You disagree with a whole lot of stuff that they have already done and that they will keep doing. Just listen and learn, friend. You'll be better for it. Appreciate you, Santana.
Thank you for coming on, Joanna. I appreciate you so much. W's in the chat for Joanna, guys. W's in the chat. Also, W's in the chat for Christian. Christian sent a $5 donation saying, keep up the great work, friend. Thank you so much, Christian. Absolutely, I will. Also, W's in the chat for Gene. Gene sent a $1 donation saying, as a Cowboys fan, F the Panthers, but more F Christianity. Exactly. Yeah, that's a whole thing. W's in the chat for Gene. Also, W's in the chat for Susan. Susan became a late night tuber over on the YouTubes. And also W's in the chat for Curtis, who sent a $5 euro donation to say the state of MAGA callers. If I heard all the things you've said, I would have been horrified. I wouldn't be able to support that. But here we are, though. Listen, there's never a line. Also, W's in the chat for Susan, who sent a $10 super chat with a sticker that say KO. Thank you so much for that. Guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links and link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Best way to support the live. Everything's accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on the YouTubes, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Guys, only request up if you're a Trump supporter. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter. We are only looking for some debates. Please do not request up if you are not a Trump supporter. If you are friendly, tap the screen, knock out these hand hearts, do all the wonderful things. IDK, are you a Trump supporter? IDK, are you a Trump supporter? IDK going once? IDK going twice? All right, I'm gonna drop you down. Hey, YouTube, can we get the likes up over on YouTube? I think we're like, there's almost 300 of us hanging out over on YouTube. Can we get the likes up? Make sure you hit the like button. And if you're watching, make sure that you actually hit that follow button, because a lot of people watch over on the tube and they don't necessarily subscribe, but they follow. W's in the chat for Allison, who sent a $5 donation saying, when I left Parker's live, I think you said, I thought she was going to put up more of a fight. Truth is, okay. That makes sense, Allison. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense now. I was a little bit confused about that. W's in the chat for you, though. Thank you so much for that $5 donation. And also, yeah, I'm sorry, I was reading that too fast. W's in the chat for Gene. Yeah, I can't read that out, Gene, because the TikTok is being funny. But W's in the chat for you. Thank you for that one. And yes, F them. The ship. Are you a Trump supporter? The ship sails at midnight.
I didn't mean to join, my guy.
No worries. I'll drop you down.
I'm here by accident.
Sorry, just trying to clear the box real quick. Cause Jen, are you a Trump supporter? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and just drop you down, Jen. Whew. That was a lot. All right, Tally, you still there?
Yeah, man. I was kind of curious of your perspective on like what living wage means, because that concept has never made sense to me.
Yeah, it's not federal minimum wage. The concept of a livable wage should continue to be parallel to what it was before the institution of trickle-down economics.
But what is that? What is a livable wage? Like, what does it mean, like, to have a livable wage?
Being able to actually afford necessities without having to get additional assistance.
Okay.
A lot of people have to depend on these social safety nets that Republicans continue to gut, because they are not being paid enough to have access to medical care or have access to food or have access to all of these other things. So they need this additional supplemental help, because federal minimum wage is $7.25. Now, prior to the thought process of trickle-down economics, the actual cost of living and the federal minimum wage was parallel. So as the cost of living continued to increase, the federal minimum wage increased, and so people were able to have a livable wage and could actually, work off of a one income household. But then after the implementation or the idea of trickle down economics, and we started to give more to these corporations and the ultra wealthy, then there was a takeaway from the federal minimum wage and the actual cost of living for people. And ever since then, the social safety nets have been strained to their maximum limits because, the ultra wealthy get more wealthy, and then the working class continues to be reduced even more.
Okay. So I guess I've always wondered, like, what is like a livable wage dependent on if you're just like an individual, or because like I see people in the comments that are like, oh, a livable wage, it's just so self-explanatory. How stupid could you be to not understand what a livable wage is? But I've never really quite understood the concept, because a livable wage obviously would depend on location. It would depend on your family. Like if you've got, 7 dependents, obviously the amount of money it will take to afford necessities is larger than if you're just an individual with no children or no dependents, right? I mean, I don't know that the federal minimum wage is even relevant. I don't know, does any state even honor the federal minimum wage? Because I know where I am,
every state
pretty
does.
much everywhere.
Every state
well,
does.
no, I think
and
every state is a much higher minimum wage than the federal.
No, not every
wage.
state. Not every state. No.
Really?
You do have certain states that actually require a higher minimum wage than the federal minimum wage, but not every state has anything higher than that. Literally, that's why it's the minimum wage.
Right, I understand that. Yeah, but it's like the lowest state minimum wage, because
Red states don't take care of their constituents at all. Like red states literally are at the bottom when it comes to healthcare, education, living standards, all this other stuff. Like
is that right?
Red states aren't actively doing anything. There's 2 states in the country that every county in this state went for Donald Trump, and the other one went for Kamala Harris. So the state of, I think it's Massachusetts, went completely for Kamala Harris with all blue counties. And then Oklahoma went for Donald Trump with all red counties. And those 2 states couldn't be more diametrically opposed as far as the quality of living, the education, and also the income level for the average income. So literally the red states, while they continue to vote red, they literally do nothing for their constituents, and the life expectancy overall is worse. Where the blue states actually take care of their citizens.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I'm looking at Florida. Maybe people should move there, because it looks like the minimum wage is. And I mean, I don't see a lot of jobs.
Florida's one of the blue outliers. You got Florida, you got Texas. Outside,
yeah. So I guess
I'm sorry, red outliers. Outside of that, the rest of the states are blue. Florida, though, they have their own issues. You could take a look at the inflation rate that's in Florida due to Ron DeSantis' immigration policy. No, just overall, the state.
Yeah, it depends on the area, though. I mean, like, obviously Miami has a much higher rate of inflation than, Ocala.
Yeah, but overall, the state average is higher than the national average.
Yeah. I think the beauty, and this is, again, why I go back to, like, an individual focus. And I've always wondered this because, I look at, I got the Greyhound app on my phone, and I look at the cost of a ticket out. And, I just wonder, like, if I were, and this is, I just think, a more productive message to be delivered to, frankly, the young Black community. Like, if you do you have children or not yet?
Yeah, I have 2 boys.
2 boys? Yeah, man, I'd be telling them, like, hey, you've got power, you've got strength, you've got knowledge, you've got a brain, you can read and write. There's unlimited opportunity out there for you. And,
I have 2 Black sons.
Yeah, it sounds like the narrative is like, hey, you're kind of screwed.
I have 2 Black sons, and so I don't. First and foremost, I've never told my sons they're screwed, but I also speak to my sons in reality. Mm-hmm. Like there's a difference between being idealistic and living in reality. And we've been up here talking for about 40 minutes or so, and I've ran through the different systems of racism that are still prevalent in society today, and all of the actual forces that push against Black people as a whole. So why would I set my boys up for failure just saying that you can do anything that your white counterpart can do, versus saying, hey, you need to be aware of these things and you need to be prepared to try to overcome them because they will be in your way. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I guess what's the message? Is it like, is it negative towards white people?
I just told you. No. The message is literally society is set up. This patriarchal system that's set up is set up to allow white people to thrive ahead of everyone else. And understanding the system that still prevails today, you have to understand how you actually live in that society and how do you succeed in that society and what barriers you will face, like, period.
Sure.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. My boys will face racism in one shape, form, or the other.
Yeah. So I think most people will face adversity. I mean, outside of
adversity isn't racism.
Yeah, I understand, and I'm not trying to say that it's the same thing, but pressure creates diamonds, and I hope that your boys can take whatever message you're delivering to them, and it'll inspire them to say, I see that and you mentioned the SBA loan, so I looked a little bit at that, and it's it's got to be illegal for race to play a role in credit score.
It is illegal. It doesn't stop it though. I've been saying this the whole time. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
If you take out a charge card that you fund and you pay it down, and again, I don't think you need credit. I don't think you need an SBA loan. I didn't have an SBA loan. Learn how to create value. Knock on doors. You will get business. Do what you're doing.
When you're Black and you knock on doors, they shoot you.
Oh, man, I don't know, man. I think that's such a horrible message, man. I think it's also
literally. I have another video on my page, and it talks about like how Black people have lost their lives while driving while Black, while being in crisis while Black, and also while just sleeping while Black. Like, there's multiple instances that Black people have lost their lives just by being Black.
Yeah. Well, I guess if that's the message, that sounds like a very uninspiring message of horror, and the world is horrible. And if you get pulled over by the police, then you should be very scared for your life. And I think that's going to further exacerbate the problem.
Yes, no, absolutely. You think I wouldn't tell tell me what you do when you get pulled over.
Yeah, when I get pulled over, I turn the lights on in the car and roll all the windows down and put my hands on the wheel, and I turn the car off. And I think everybody should do the same, whether you're Black, white, fat,
so the cops
skin.
Walk up to you and say, license and registration. What do you do?
I tell them that I've got a gun in the car, and I ask if I've got permission to, get my stuff. And then I get it and I hand it to them.
So your premise is more so around the fact that you have a gun, and then, if you actually grab the stuff without saying that, then the gun is actually, is somebody?
I think it's polite. I think you might be required. I'm not sure in my state if you're required to notify law enforcement, but I think it's polite. And I think it shows the police, like, look, if the police roll up to a car with tinted windows and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Black people don't get the privilege of having to worry about, quote unquote, whether it's polite or not with police. Black people can't be rude towards police. Did you know that?
I mean, you certainly can be rude.
Being rude towards police as a Black person is literally a threat to your life. Yeah. Literally. Black.
I think
the fact the police can take someone's life because they deem it they fear for their life. They have impunity to take someone's life if they fear for their life. And Black people, for some reason, by the premise of police officers, cause them to fear more.
Yeah. And I think the antidote to that is not to have your tinted windows rolled all the way up and the car still running and no lights on and your window cracked. I think it's
I've gotten stopped by cops multiple times. I've never had tint with lights running or lights on, a car running. Do you think that I'm scared for my life?
I'm not sure, man.
every single time. Every single
Really?
time. You know what the difference is between you and I when we get stopped by a cop? When I get stopped by a cop, the first thing I do is call someone. I call my mom or I call my wife and I let them know, hey, I just got stopped by the police. And I don't know if this is the last time that I'm going to speak to them. Every single time. Every single time. Even if I've done nothing, like I always call them and let them know that I got stopped by the police because I don't know if I'll ever speak to them again. And then I roll down the window and I put my hands on the steering wheel. And then as the cops come over, they say license and registration. I say my license is in my back pocket. My registration is in the glove compartment. May I reach for them now? And I wait for them to give me actual confirmation that I can take my hands off the steering wheel and grab those items. And then once I give them the items, I put my hands back on the steering wheel and I wait and I hope that the cops don't find some type of probable cause to take my life. That's the difference between me and you being stopped by the cops. You don't fear for your life the entire time. I do. And that's the constant state of Black people in America. Literally. And for you to sit up here and pretend like that's not a thing, you're being willfully obtuse.
I mean, I think it's fallacious. I don't think that you need to feel that way anymore, personally.
And tell cops to stop killing Black people.
Do you have a stat on that? I mean, it's got to be, because almost every video I've seen has been somebody screaming on the phone, disobeying lawful orders, and creating a total scene. And in many cases, like doing not what you just said. I don't know that I've seen any instance of people obeying lawful orders. And again, I think that I've definitely seen instances of police. I mean, I just saw the ICE agent shoot that white guy in the head, by the way, with that pepper ball. And that looked ridiculous to me. And people need to be held accountable. But I think that the justice system has done a relatively good job of keeping people accountable. I mean, we've got body cams all over on everybody. It's publicly leaked. I think that I guess I just wish you didn't live in that fear, because I don't think you need to. I think you could have a polite interaction with law enforcement and not worry about it. I've been rude to law enforcement and they've given me tons of tickets, but I had a cop tell me that don't reach around or I'll shoot you, and my wife was with me. And this is a guy has like a vendetta against me back.
You ever wonder why you don't see Black people doing stuff like this?
I get to touch people's lives with what I do. And it keeps me going, and I love it. I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too.
It's because being Black in America is a full contact sport already, with just us living. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Santana, and I saw this video and I thought to myself, you know what? It must be nice to actually live your life where you have to create these type of thrills or possible dangers just to actually experience danger. Or anybody starts saying, oh, Santana, there you go being a victim. There you go actually saying that, oh, Black people can't do something that white people can do. I have multiple examples. Exhibit A.
All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands. Here. Where's your reason, sir? Where's your reason? Step out now.
It was a routine traffic stop where the police actually decided to smash in his window, punch him in the face, pull him out of the car, and beat him on the ground. He was not resisting. He was just being a Black man in America. DWB, driving while Black. Exhibit B, Sonia Massey, a police officer responding to a distress call. Sonia Massey apparently had boiling water or hot water or whatever the case may be. And instead of the police finding a way to de-escalate, they decided to actually take her life. That's right. You can't even be Black and in crisis without actually possibly losing your life. Exhibit C.
They just treated us like we were nothing. Patricia Fisher says she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive in her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police. It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face.
And apparently you can't even be in your own home, sleep while being Black. Living as a Black person in America, every single day you're on edge, and every single day you don't know if it's going to be your last. I am brought back to a poem that I always think of when I think about other marginalized groups and people standing up for other people. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, but I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, but there was no one left to speak for me. Each and every time I have the opportunity to use my voice to speak up for undocumented immigrants, transgender people, people with disabilities, women, indigenous people, Black people, I would do so each and every time. I will not miss the opportunity to stand up for those that are more marginalized than myself, because one day I might actually need someone to stand up for me. I love you all, and as always, peace. You want to tell me about why I shouldn't like tell my boys about, you know, how things are in the world?
Mm-hmm. I guess earlier in the conversation you said that the exception doesn't define the rule. Oh, sorry. You said earlier in the live, which I think was very logical and wise, that the exception shouldn't define the rule. And I think in the vast majority
proves the rule, not define. The exception literally approves, the exception proves the rule.
So statistical anomalies are how you live your life. You look at these edge cases and say, wow, that's going to happen to me. In fact, in the glass break situation, what happened before that? I don't know. It'd be nice to see. Of course, I'm not denying that police brutality occurs, and probably at a higher rate toward Black people. But at the same time, the vast majority of escalation comes from disobeying lawful orders to step out of the car, to unroll your window. If I sit there and get pulled over and I refuse to unroll my window, they're eventually going to...
Erica, please go ahead.
Okay, hi Santana. Okay, I'm going to try to be as quick as possible considering the circumstances. First things first is that Tail, whatever your name is, I don't think that Santana nor Joanna have to be up here explaining Black trauma to you. So there's that. But also you did mention, however, during this conversation with Santana, that you would tell the police officer that you have a firearm in the vehicle. You know who told the police officer that they had a firearm? His name was Philando Castile. That's who told him. His name was Philando Castile. And Philando Castile told the police officer exactly what it was he was doing, that he had a legally owned firearm in the vehicle. And as he reached for his license, which he told the officer he was reaching for, the officer shot him 7 times, 5 of those bullets hitting him. Okay, so there's that. He unalived in front of his child, in front of his girlfriend, who was live streaming it on Facebook. So there's that. All right. Also, you mentioned about, well, the exception doesn't make the rule. Then why are Black people 6.1 times, between 2000, I'm trying to remember the stat, between 2015 and 2024, Black people were unalived by a police officer at a rate of 6.1 per 1 million. That's 2 times more likely to be unalived by police officers than white people. So there is a disparity there. There is a problem, because what was the reason for a person like Eric Garner to be placed in a chokehold? All he was doing was selling Lucy's on the corner. That's it. That's it. What was the reason for George Floyd to be unalived? George Floyd did not resist arrest. They used lethal force on him. What was the reason for a person like Sonia Massey to be murdered inside of her home by a police officer? All she did was call for help. What was the reason for a person like Sandra Bland to be unalived in a jail cell? All Sandra Bland did was continue to smoke her cigarette. That's all she did. All right, so when you sit up here, all right, you sit up here and you deny the experiences of Black people because you're simply a mouth-frothing racist. I'm going to tell my brother to stop explaining Black trauma to this white person. He does not care.
Sounds very hateful of you. Sounds very hateful of you. I think this has been a pretty respectful.
Stop talking.
You out, bro.
No, I think it's been a very respectful.
Tally.
It's not a very respectful conversation.
Like, hit dogs holler. If you're getting upset because of what Erica's saying, it's because you feel it. Like hit
You
dogs
barking right
holler.
now.
Look,
You
man,
barking and you loud.
I think you're mad. I got one last.
You don't have one last thing to say. You're ridiculous. You're absolutely ridiculous. You're out here traumatizing over 600 darn people with your nuh-ons when Santana and Joanna already told you about it. They already talked to you about equity. If you don't understand what equity means removing the barriers in place. That's what that means, removing the barriers. We cannot remove any barriers under the system of white supremacy. So there's that part. So as long as white supremacy exists, which you fall in line with, we will not have equity. So there's that. So stop going on these platforms and asking people, what can I as a white person do that a black person can't? Or what can you as a black person do that I as a white person can't? Because you already know the answer. You just want to hear about black trauma
Tally,
because it
stop
gets
coming
you
off
off.
mute. Stop coming off
That's
mute.
all that there is
It's
to
not
it.
your
It
time to
gets you
speak.
off and you like it.
Nah, I thought we'd have.
Tally, stop
All right,
coming
bro.
off mute. It's not your time to speak. Thank you, E. I appreciate you.
I'm out. I have a great night.
You as well. Kay, I got him. Kay, go ahead.
I was about to say what Erica just said. This has become a conversation where he's just listening to all of the trauma that's happening. And I believe he said he was 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It is infuriating to listen to you go from point to point to point that you have experience in all of these areas in hiring, and that you do this and you do that, and you know, and you're not into politics, which this is the whole background isn't even about what you're talking about. You were here at the top, these were the topic, and then you started a whole thing with your entire privilege just ass hanging out. And you want to talk about how it was a respectful conversation. It was, except you couldn't take in any of that information. So I came up here because I'm not going to allow Santana to allow any more traumatic things to have to be said to you so that you can do exactly what you've been doing all night and just bypass them and think that they're fringe. What I am going to tell you is that if you go, because I'm not going to spoon feed you any more information for tonight, if you go and look up the rates of traffic stops in any metropolitan city, and you look at what they pull over during the day and who they pull over at night, and you look at those statistics, you find out how the system is actually working. I specifically would love for you to look at Chicago and what happens there. So you've sat up here long enough, you've perpetuated enough harm, you've pretended to be an expert on so many things. And honestly, if I were you, I would just hit that X up at the top right corner and see yourself out.
Can I speak?
Unless it's
This is
an
like too much trauma.
W's in the chat for Verillion, who sent a $5 super chat to say magic trick, magic trick. I know that's right, Verillion. Hey, Kay.
Hey.
I think I'm done.
Okay, that was a lot. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for trying to go along with this ride, but we just, it's too much. And he was told a lot of this information in several other lives today when he wasn't on his girlfriend's account. So, you know, it just seems like he wants to keep hearing things like that and keep perpetuating that, and I don't want that.
This one's on me, Kay, because I don't know how I let him get to racism. Like, we haven't talked about Trump in forever, and I have no idea how I let him get here. I literally forgot about that. Like, I literally forgot that we were supposed to be talking about politics.
It's because you're patient and that you want people to be educated and see that, and I think that, it just got, to a point that, unfortunately, I mean, he was just going to keep letting it go. And when you can roll off that many names from your tongue, it's not fringe cases anymore. And it's not, and, we have someone arguing that in the first video of the gentleman who was, window was broken, yes, I do understand that a previous crime was committed and he was a person of interest in that, but he was also not convicted. He was the alleged offender, and people need to start realizing that the police are not the judge, jury, and executioner. Mm-hmm. And so sitting here and saying, well, he was wanted for, yeah, well, he gets his day in court.
Exactly. That doesn't,
they don't get to decide.
Exactly. And that doesn't require, like, not only okay, if you have to break the glass to get them out, okay, cool. They're like the punching and literally like the slamming on the ground and continue to punch. Like, what are we even talking about?
I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, when we talk and we see all these cars around that drive around and have, quote, protect and serve on it, I wish they'd finish the whole sentence. It's protect and serve corporations. Sit in parking lots and watch businesses and property. It has nothing to do. We've already seen it with the Supreme Court saying that they don't have to protect anybody. It's not up to that. And then they go into a home with a woman who clearly is in crisis. Mm-hmm. They tell her to go turn off the stove, and then they get scared. Mm-hmm. So to me, I mean, all of this is not fringe cases. And I'll get that off. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to take care of him at the moment because he can't stop himself. He's still
yapping?
Impulse control.
You can't yap from outside of the club.
But anyway, thank you guys for, being here. And no one is saying that anyone should, live in fear, but sometimes, like, that's the case. That's the case. That's what we see.
It's not even about living in fear. It's about awareness. Like, that's the point that I was trying to get across. Like, it's not fear, it's awareness. And there's a huge difference. And understanding, like, what the reality of the world is super important if you want to be successful. So.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, like, I think my biggest problem is, like, having the argument back and forth about that first video. The other thing too is, like, the description thing. Mm-hmm. So it's just a constant thing of people not understanding these systems, where they started from. Like, if you even wanted to take him back and ask him, why did the police start? What facilitated, people and badges to begin with? He wouldn't have known, or he would have known and said, oh, well, it's different now. Well, there's no amount of training it. I told you before, it's not woven in anymore. It's just a fabric.
Yeah, you do say that. All right.
No, he's not coming back up, MC. You're all good.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I hope you have a good night, and thank you guys all for being here and tapping and, donating. I really appreciate you. Have a great night.
Thank you, Kay. W's in the chat for Kay, guys. Also, W's in the chat for Brittany. Brittany sent a $15 donation saying, so infuriating. I was driving my mom's car at 17 with my 12-year-old sister, had a weapon pulled, backup called, car search, and left on the side of the road crying at night. We did everything they said. A cop typed a 6 instead of a C. I'm assuming like the rest of the message got cut off. I'm sorry, I can't see the rest of the message. I'll check that later, but I appreciate you. Massive W's in the chat for Denise. Denise in a $40 donation. Holy crap. Thank you so much for that $40 donation saying, I'm a 65-year-old woman and I was able to answer the question Joanna and you asked, even sometimes speaking with your exact words along with you. This man lives under a rock or a dream world. He doesn't fucking get it. He doesn't want to. Clocked it. Absolutely clocked it. W's in the chat for Ivy, who sent a $20 donation, said, the 20 you never got. I appreciate you so much for that $20 donation. W's in the chat for everybody. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. Like, I apologize. I don't know how I let myself get that far off track. I normally don't do that, and that's on me. That one's on me. I normally don't get that far off track, but I let him take me down a rabbit hole, so I apologize. With that being said, guys, it is kind of late, and so I think I'm gonna do the thing, which is try to sleep. And chat, I think you guys should do the same. I think you guys should do the same. But I appreciate you guys more. Yeah, and it was wild. It was wild. But if you guys are not going to sleep anytime soon, or if you're like up and you have like work to do or whatever the case may be, and you're looking for somebody, go rate Joey. Joey's on right now. Freaking love Joey, guys. It's Joey _ does it. Joey, so JOEY_DOESIT. Mods, can we here? Let me see. Give me a second. Let me see if I can. I got it. Oh, okay, I already got it. That's Joey. Joey is a great creator that I found on this app. He is a DACA recipient. He is on the West Coast as well, and he debates Trump supporters and also specifically Latino Trump supporters. And he's awesome, like super patient, like way more patient than me. He reminds me of me when I first started streaming. I'm a lot less patient now today than I started. Joey is absolutely amazing. Go raid Joey with a Santana raid and show him some love. Tap the screen, do all the wonderful things. We're going to go ahead and get out of here.
You stepped in a box, now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here, you better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts like life.
Guys, thank you all for hanging out with me tonight with this short stream. I really appreciate it. I haven't been feeling good at all today, and so I'm glad that I was at least able to get on and hang out with you guys for a little while because I missed you. Go over if you're not gonna go to bed, then go over and show Joey some love. I might go over and hang out a little while with him, but do your thing. I love you all, guys. Thank you for all the likes, the gifts, the shares, tapping. Thank you all for being absolutely amazing. I will see you all tomorrow.